Ana e ngā reo, e ngā iwi o ngā hau e whā, ngā mihi mahana kia koutou, kia ora tātou katoa. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I extend my warm greetings to you all. I specifically want to acknowledge Thomas Albrecht, the regional representative for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Mr David Small, Chief Executive of the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment, Nigel Bickle, the Deputy Chief Executive, Immigration. To you all, tēnā koutou katoa. You may be wondering why I'm along here tonight. Simply, it's because people matter. So thank you for inviting me to this event and the opportunity to share some time with people who are working on a pressing concern for us all, the resettlement of refugees in New Zealand. In this year of significant events or anniversaries of events that have helped shape this country, for example, the 175th anniversary of the signing of the Treaty of Waitangi and the centenary of the Gallipoli landings, we have reflected on what our nation stands for and the good fortune that we have to be its citizens. At the same time, we've seen the plight of people whose nations have failed them, people who've been displaced by war or political turmoil, and whose only hope is to seek refuge elsewhere. Each day we're reminded of the plight of millions of people who live their lives in limbo, with inadequate food, shelter, sanitation and safety. We see distressing images of desperate people crammed in flimsy boats seeking respite. These images remind us that there is a vexing people problem. The latest UN estimates of around 50 million refugees, asylum seekers and stateless and displaced people around the world is a stark statistic. In New Zealand, we have had a long time in recognising the plight of refugees. Even before we had reason, because of international obligations to provide refuge, New Zealand has welcomed refugees. Successful or successive governments have reflected the convictions of their citizens' innate commitment to fair play, justice and political freedom. And the concept of seeking refuge resonates with our history of immigration and people who have come here searching for a better life. For those fortunate to come to New Zealand, whether that be through our quota or otherwise, we are obliged to support them beyond their initial resettlement. We need to do that so that they have the opportunities and the means to participate as members of our communities. We need to be sure that the enthusiasm of refugees to come to New Zealand is matched by an enthusiasm in our communities to benefit from their qualifications, their talents and their potential. The whole of government approach being taken to refugee settlement in New Zealand is commendable. Equally, I applaud the commitment of government and non-government agencies and the refugee communities represented here tonight for taking this opportunity to determine what works and what needs to be changed to make our resettlement processes better. In my view, New Zealand is a nation of immigrants. It has been a place of new beginnings for us all. I'm reminded of this when I meet ex-refugees at citizenship ceremonies, and I see their optimism and their energy, their dignity, their devotion to their families, their determination to succeed, and their joy at becoming part of our New Zealand family. When I conduct investiture ceremonies, I meet individuals who make extraordinary contributions. This includes people like Mrs. Wanda Ellis, who came here as one of the Polish orphan refugees in the 1940s. Wanda has spent her life assisting her Polish compatriots who have come here to live. She continues to be a pillar of her community, and it was a delight to see her become a member of the Queen's Service Order. And on Race Relations Day earlier this year, I was inspired by members of the refugee communities I met at a reception at Government House in Auckland. I was most impressed by a young man, Muhammad, who addressed the reception. Muhammad told us of how his life had been transformed by the opportunities presented to him here. He talked about his academic achievements and about his confidence that he would be able to fulfil his aspirations for his future. The late Nelson Mandela once said, "The time is always right to do right." The program for this forum will no doubt provide insights and suggest new avenues for investigation to do what is right. My hope is that through the work you are all doing, we can build on our commitment to do right for our refugees and New Zealand. In my view, refugees deserve lives of dignity, hope and achievement. New Zealand and New Zealanders can only benefit from the economic, social and cultural contribution that refugees are so keen to make. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all the best for the remaining day of your forum and for continuing progress on our efforts on behalf of our refugee population. Thank you very much. Kia ora hui hui tātou katoa.